Folks, we are halfway to Halloween. I don't know how we got here. However, I thought a great way to celebrate would be to do a review of the Santa Muerte Tarot deck by Fabio Listrani, brought to us by the publishers of Lo Scarabeo. This deck has been out for a few years now, but it was recently requested by one of my wonderful subscribers. Thank you so much to Cozy Chaos Tarot GB. I really appreciate the support and love that you're giving, so please go ahead and check out her channel here on YouTube as well. So before we get into the flip through, though, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know very much about Santa Muerte. My bad. But I did do some digging on the internets and I found out some things. And I think it would be appropriate for us to know these things before we dive in. So here are a couple of bullet points that I found from my research on Google. So Santa Muerte, or Holy Death, or Saint Death, is a popular Mexican folk saint who personifies death. She is depicted as a female skeleton, often in a robe and holding a scythe. So we see that here depicted. You see in the robes, and there goes her scythe kind of sitting there. Okay, so this folk tradition blends indigenous and Catholic influences, and she's viewed by many as a powerful protector and guide, especially through struggle, change, and survival. Her greatest appeal is that she does not judge, because death comes for everyone, regardless of status or deeds. And we see that, right, with the Rider Waite Smith death card. There's people of all classes there. There's a king dead, there's some religion folk, there's a mom, there's a kid. It comes for everyone, right? So she is revered as a protector and healer, especially among marginalized groups like the urban poor, inmates, and LGBTQ communities. So I'm going to continue my research on the side. Everything I've learned so far really just piqued my interest and it does align with some of my values. So I'm going to continue my research outside of this review and I hope you do as well. But if you are well versed in Santa Muerte, please feel free to share your experiences, your knowledge down in the comments below. I'd love to learn firsthand about Santa Muerte. And by the end of the review, please feel free to let me know if this deck aligns with the meanings and values of this following and this tradition. So, with that information in mind, let's get into the cards and see how these themes show up visually and energetically in the Santa Muerte Tarot. Alrighty, so here we have the Santa Muerte Tarot deck. We have this box. We have Santa Muerte here on the front. On the back, we have a skull. As I stated earlier, it's brought to us by Fabio Listrani and Lo Scarabeo. I hope you can see how beautiful the foiling is. The gold, I love some gold. So here we go. Yeah, look at the skeleton heads. So I'll be honest, I was skeptical about getting it or just hesitant to get the deck because I'm not really into skeletons and skulls and that kind of thing, as you see, by my four skulls here. But I just recently had an interest in skulls and skeletons and how it is a part of spirituality. So then somebody requested for me to do it. It just seemed to all align. So I purchased some crystals that called to me. I love this one. Let me show you this one. I love how it has this piece here, like over the mouth, kind of saying like "shut your mouth." So that's what I got that one for. So here we go. All right, they're glossy. Just to take a look at the cards. So one thing about this deck, though, even though I wasn't into skulls or anything, the back of this deck has always called my attention. When I first started, when I first realized that there were tarot readings on YouTube and they were pick a cards, this backing always got my attention, always piqued my attention. And then I would look and be like, "Oh, it's skeletons." I always loved the readings that I would get with this deck with other readers, but for whatever reason I didn't originally connect with it. Now I do, but everything in timing, right? So it comes with this extra card that's stunning and beautiful. I like to use these as like bookmarks because this is too beautiful to throw out, right? So I'm just going to put that to the side. So here we have our guidebook. Okay. So I believe Fabio Listrani is based out of Italy, but this guidebook, as many of the Lo Scarabeo card decks, is translated into various languages. Here we have what, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven languages. So a lot there. Then we get into Fabio Listrani, his background, his credits. And here we have a little background on Santa Muerte. Okay, so let's see. I won't read the whole thing, but it has a quote here. The dead are reborn and lie again in the belly of the conscience. Austin Osman Spare. Okay, so despite whatever ambiguities present themselves, what you have in your hands is a deck of cards that celebrates and honors life, even though it's Santa Muerte. The shape through which this celebration unfolds derives from the aesthetic of Mexican and pre Columbian traditions and cults in a colorful and floral triptych composed of Santa Muerte, Calavera Catrina, and de los Muertos. See, I don't know much about de los Muertos aside from, what was that Disney movie? Coco. Yes, Coco. Oh, that movie gets me every time. The motif is that death, as it appears to us due to erroneous mental constructs, is not the opposite of life, but rather an integral part of it. It is the opposite, perhaps, of birth, something that is connected to us from the moment we are conceived, when we begin to shape and become part of the material world. So it goes on to that. I think one of the big points here that we kind of touched on earlier, the figure of La Santa Muerte, as with the image of a decorated skull, another aspect of this deck, has an ambitious and glorious objective, that of waving a banner of resistance and redemption in the face of the arrogant and powerful, jeering at their blindness. Santa Muerte stands defiant before the abuses of power by those who govern and speak truth before false prophet or moral fictions. Okay, so I think that's good to know beforehand. So after that blurb, we go right into the layout of the major arcana. There is no explanation of the difference between the major and the minor arcana, right? Just go from the major right into the minor. Okay. The guidebook goes through the major arcana, no explanation of what the arcana is, but it goes through each one. There are reversals, but it's not obvious. Like it doesn't give you the upright and then the reversal. It kind of tells you what the card is and then says in a problematic fashion. I'll see if I could find an example. Hold on. Okay, so for example, the Three of Pentacles says the first benefits of fruits of what we have invested or sown the seeds for have begun to arrive. Three, a particularly active number, combined with pentacles, brings a powerful expansion and a positive outcome where perseverance is completely repaid. Only haste or a certain immaturity in management could bring about problems, weakening incapability, or disagreement. So you see how it says like how this can go wrong, kind of. So it's not blatant, it's not out there, but it is mentioned. All right, so back to the major arcana. So yes, we have the explanation, there's reversals, and what I like for both the major and minor arcana, there is advice. So there's advice of the dead. So that tells you what to do with the information that you just read. Okay, so we have that. They're in Roman numerals. Then we go into the minor arcana. One thing I did notice, since it's the first one up, is chalices. So cups are referred to as chalices in the book, but cups on the cards. So just know that. I like that they explain, or he explains what it has to do with. So we have chalices or cups, emotional center to love, and water. So it gives you the elements, gives you like a saying. Let me see, I'll break it down here. So cups or chalices are emotional center to love, water is the element, pentacles, material center to live, earth, wands, creative sexual center to do, flame or fire, and swords, intellectual center to be, and air as the element. The additional component here that I really appreciated was he assigns a color and a body part to each suit. So for instance, here he says the azure blue color identifies these cards, and the heart and the thoracic cage are the parts of the body that correspond with this suit. That will come into play later on as we look at the cards. I will show it to you. It is beautiful. It is stunning how he did this. This deck is so visually stunning and so amazing. I can't wait to dig in to show you everything. If you go on with it, so Like you said, cups are blue and have to deal with the heart and the thoracic cage. So that's like the rib cage. Pentacles are green, and that has to deal with the feet and the legs. Wands are red and has to do with the pelvis. And he calls it something else. What did he call it? Okay, red is the color that identifies these cards, while the pelvis and the inguinal area are the parts of the body corresponding with the suit. So that's like the groin, that area. And swords is the head, and yellow. Yes, yellow is the color that identifies the swords, while the head is the part of the body that corresponds with the suit. Yes. I will say, as far as the navigating the guidebook, the only table of contents that there is for the languages. It's not, it doesn't tell you where the major arcana is. It doesn't break down what page each suit is on. So that's a little bit of friction there, because then I don't know if you could see here. So you really kind of have to go looking. You can't tell if this is, I'm looking at wands, swords. You really have to kind of dig in. Like, it doesn't say 8 of wands. You really have to look there. But here in 9, you don't really get down. It doesn't say wands. So it's a little tricky navigating the book, but use that to your discernment. I believe that this deck is more of an intuitive deck anyway, so maybe you won't need the book as much. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything else after? Oh, okay. Yeah. It gives you a spread or two. Let me see. 1 spread, 2 spread, and that's it. Okay. So after the minor arcana, it gives you a couple of spreads to do, details what each card should stand for or explain. So you have that. So that is the guidebook. Time for us to now get into the deck. All right. All right. So we have the Fool. Okay. So we don't have the typical ledge that he's on, but he's, oh no, he's climbing out of his grave. All right. It's a new life, it's a new day. We have the butterfly with transformation. We have an Ankh here. All right. We have his bag that he's taking, his luggage. There's so much here. I want to know what the little skulls are here for, but we see his candles, his velas there. Okay. We have our magician. He has everything he needs. I like how his sombrero has the candles on it. The high priestess. I love the colors in this card. This deep, like turquoise and purple, or this deep red, whatever it is, it's just so, it just adds a layer to the mysticism of this card. The Empress, gorgeous, just gorgeous. I find it interesting, if I can focus in on it. If you look through her fan, she has skin. Oh, that's not focused at all. But if you look through her fan, she has skin, but above she's just the bones. So that's interesting. There's another card that's like that, and I'll point that out. But look at this. The colors that are used here are just fantastic. The Emperor. Oh, he's ready. He's got his gun. All right. The Hierophant. That's funny. He has a Ouija board that he's using, and they have the hand symbol that we often see in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So I will say a lot of these images are going to coincide with Rider-Waite-Smith, but there are some that are more unconventional. He has a different take on them. So that's where I believe, you know, that's where I believe a lot of intuitive reading is going to come into play here. Okay, we have the Lovers. That's an interesting. The key here is depicted as the angel that we normally see in Rider-Waite-Smith. Okay, the Chariot. Again, the colors are beautiful. Strength. I love this. This is like the lucha libre, like the wrestlers that they have. I thought that was so smart to do that for strength, to have that depict strength. The hermit. We have the light represented that we normally see in the Rider-Waite Smith, and he's in his coffin. He's by himself, tucked away. The Wheel of Fortune, look at that. I'll even put it upside down so you can see both sides. The light and the dark. The wheel is always turning. We have some colors there. The scythes. Justice, la justicia. The Hanged Man. And is that a clock back there? I'm trying to figure out what that is in the background. We'll have to see if the guidebook details any of the imagery and some of the symbolism in here. Santa Muerte, here she is, our death card. From the cradle to the grave, from the tomb to the womb. Temperance, I love this temperance card. I love the skirt. There's something about the skirt that really calls to me. You have the temples in the background. El Diablo, the devil, number 15. This is gorgeous too. Like, I literally feel like there's a light emitting from the back of this card. The Tower. So this is the card I normally always look at in a deck. I always want to look at the Tower card. For me, it's always the Tower card, the Lovers, and the Devil. And this Tower card is crazy to me. I have no idea what's going on, but I guess that's what this card is supposed to evoke, right? A Tower moment flips everything you know, everything you had in order is now in disorder and disarray. It honestly reminds me of, even in Harry Potter, how the steps move on their own, how their towers have a life of their own and they move. So that's how I feel about this. This is, anything can happen at any time and it leads you to places unknown, right? The Star. This is another beautiful one. I love how she's immersed in the water. Oh, and is that, I'm trying to see if that's a skeleton of a fish too. I think so. Huh, that's great. Oh, I don't, sorry, I didn't know if you could see that. Look, the fish with the skeleton, or a skeleton fish, a skeletal fish. There we go. I swear I can speak. The Moon. This is my favorite card in the deck. Remember how I mentioned in the Empress how you see her skin, but also her skeletons? This is the other card that I noticed that with. So from above, you see her skin. She's flesh and bone. In her reflection, she sees the bones. So to me, this is someone that, and here goes the moon. So the moon is known to bring out your shadow self, right? So at nighttime is when we come to realizations and we get to dig deep into those shadows, those things, those murky feelings we can't deal with during the day, right? So here, I think maybe this is someone that's coming to terms not just with maybe her mortality, but with something, right? That's how I would read this intuitively. Beautiful. Normally we have the dog and the wolf and the crustaceans coming from the water, but this is a different take on it, but it's absolutely gorgeous and stunning. I'm here for it. Here we have the sun. Everybody's singing and dancing. We're singing away under the sun. Judgment. This looks like someone's funeral or someone popping out of the grave. and the world. Yeah, this is. I wonder, we'll see her again. I believe it's in the Four of Pentacles. So we'll see. I wonder how that plays. Yeah. Okay. So that was our major arcana. Now into our minor arcana. So I want to tell you about a feature of this deck that isn't discussed, or at least I haven't found it discussed in the guidebook, but I think it is a really integral feature that is just a chef's kiss to this deck. But I think it's better to visually show it. So I'm going to have to show you all of the suits side by side so you can see what I'm talking about. And I'll do it now. Okay, so you know how in the beginning when tarot first came about, it was a card game played with a traditional just card deck with your suits, your hearts, your diamonds, your spades and clubs. There's a reference to all that here throughout the cards, and you see it in the aces. So cups align with hearts. So here go the hearts and the eyes. Pentacles are diamonds, right? They're cut a little different. These are pentagons, right? One, two, three, four. Yeah, these are pentagons, but they're still cut like a gem would be cut. Swords are spades, and you see that here. I don't know if you can see it too well, but there go spades. And the sad thing is, I can't figure out the clubs in the wands. So if someone could let me know down below where to find them, I'd love to, because I was really, really digging through this trying to find it. But I thought that that was a cool way to incorporate some of the history or the foundation of tarot from it being just a card game with the regular deck that you would play poker with to now today's type of tarot. So I just wanted to point that out. I thought that was pretty cool. All right. So back to how we had it. Okay. So we have our Ace of Cups. Beautiful chalice there. But again, you see in the guidebook it says chalice, but here on the cards it says cups. Our Two of Cups, here goes our couple. And look, they're pouring into each other. It's beautiful. So yeah, what was it? Cups was the heart and the rib cage, so we're seeing that. And again, their eyes have the hearts. I love that. The heart is incorporated here. In our Three of Cups, we've got the people celebrating. The Four of Cups, our Five of Cups. This is an interesting take. Definitely not really a Rider Waite Smith, but we see the hearts here. This is an interesting take on the Five of Cups. And I want to say this is bringing me a little bit, maybe integrating it a little bit with the swords, because it's kind of like your mind is, you're in a mental maze. Here goes the Six of Cups, Seven of Cups, Eight of Cups. I love this one. This card is beautiful as well. The depth of that blue. Nine of Cups. Every time I see this, I hear pirates singing in my head. Ten of Cups. Remember how I said he points out that there is a color and a body part to every suit. The 10 of every suit is going to show you the color and the body part. I thought that was fantastic. I'll show them side by side at the end. So it's like at the beginning, at the end, you kind of see a little nod to it. Okay, so now we have our Page of Cups, our Knight of Cups, our Queen of Cups, and our King of Cups. Okay, so the cups are blue, heart, and now we have the pentacles that are green. I have to do with feet and legs. Oh, I wonder if that's why they chose a grasshopper, because it's all legs. So our Ace of Pentacles, our Two of Pentacles. I thought this was an interesting take because at first, a lot of times when I shuffle through, I always confuse this with the Two of Cups, but this is the Two of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles. Again, a different take. You normally see multiple people in this card. And here goes, what was it, the World? I'm going to say that that's her here in the Four of Pentacles. Again, an interesting take. This is going to take some intuitive reading. Five of Pentacles. And here you see the diamonds cut into the eyes, representing the coins or the pentacles. The Six of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles. And 10 of Pentacles. And again, we have the color and the feet and the butterfly. That's clever. I really like that little feature. Okay, now we're moving on. Oh, no. Yeah, moving on to the court with the Page of Pentacles. Check your bag before you go out. Knight of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. I just heard I could do it myself. King of Pentacles. And now we're on to swords. And see, there goes the spade. So the Ace of Swords. We are now yellow. And the body part is the head. Okay, so Two of Swords. Three of Swords. This is interesting. I love how the spade represents the eyes here. But you see him stabbing him in the back. Four of Swords. Laying something to rest or putting the nail in the coffin. Five of Swords. As we come up on the six, I just want to point out with this, as far as the numbers, the six and the nines keep on confusing me. So you're supposed to read it here on the left, not on the right. But as you see here, depending on how you're looking at this, I guess, I don't know. I kept on getting confused whether this is a nine or a six on how I should look at this. So just beware of that. So this is the Six of Swords. Seven of Swords. This is an interesting take on the Seven of Swords. I really have to sit with this one. In the background, it says hope and reflection. I think, yeah. Eight of Swords. Again, this one looks a little different. I thought it was the Eight of Wands, or it looks similar to the Eight of Wands, but it's not. And I read it in the book. It makes sense, kind of. So, but you see the skull there. We have our Nine of Wands. Again, be mindful of your sixes and nines, your nines and sixes. Okay, and our Ten of Swords shows us our, I don't know if it's a butterfly or a moth. I guess this looks more like a moth. And we have the yellow and the head. Okay, our court cards with our Page of Swords. I love the spades. Our Knight of Swords. Our Queen of Swords. I love that pose that she has there. our King of Swords. Okay, and now with the Wands, our Ace of Wands. And this is going to be red and dealing with the pelvis area. Our Two of Wands. Look like he's looking for a fight. Or he's ready for one at least. Three of Wands. Four of Wands. Five of Wands. Six of Wands. Seven of Wands. Eight of Wands. I love this one. Yeah, I thought this was beautiful. Again, I don't know where the club is. I'm a little disappointed. I can't find the club. If anybody sees the club in it, let me know. The Nine of Wands. This is gorgeous. And then our Ten of Wands with our butterfly or moth here. And you see the red and you see the pelvis bone or the hip bones. No, is it the pelvis bones? Yeah, the pelvic bones. All right. Swinging on a swing here is our Page of Wands. Our Knight of Wands. Yeah, he's going for it. He's going for the gusto. Our beautiful Queen of Wands. And to finish it off, we have our King of Wands. Oh my God, I don't know why I just heard. I'm not even going to say what I heard. I said from the window to the walls. He would be the one to get the party started. Or maybe end it on a good note, you know? So, yes, that is the deck. I do want to show you the tens all together. So, I actually brought out all the aces and the tens just to show how beautiful it's laid out, knowing that there's a color scheme. So, here you have your blues, your green, your yellow, your red, then with the detail of the body parts. So, you have the thoracic cage. Now I sound all intelligent. I didn't know that that's what it was called, but your rib cage, you have your feet, your head, and your pelvic bone. I can't remember what word they used, but that's what that is. I love how this was executed. So I just wanted to give it its time and let you see that all in one before I shuffled. Okay. So there you go. Alrighty. So what do you think? What are your thoughts? How do you feel? How does the deck make you feel? It's not all doom and gloom. All right, this is how I shuffle it. It's a little hard for me to shuffle it. What is it, the bridge or the ruffle shuffle? I can't. My hands are not that strong. I have to work out. People need to tell you that when you get into tarot, you need to work out your hands. So we're going to pull a card. So I'm going to shuffle a little bit. Spirit, thank you for your time. If you wouldn't mind, if you could let me pull a card and give a collective message to the viewers. I appreciate the time. All right. Overhand shuffle is great. All right. What do we have? 10 of Pentacles. I'll read that up right. Let's see how the book reads. Okay, like I said, you once you navigate to where your language is, you just have to know, you have to look around to see if you're in the Pentacles or not, or whichever suit you're in. Okay, so I did go to Pentacles. All right. The chrysalis has closed into itself, and a change is now vitally necessary in order to continue and progress. The Ten of Pentacles pushes us to go even beyond the material world and to fly in different places in order to bring abundance and fortune to other territories. Only fear of letting go of a life and a stable but past situation could create problems, uncertainties, and disagreements. So there goes that reversal. Like the reversal is fear of letting go of a life in a stable but past situation could create problems, uncertainties, and disagreements. The advice of the dead: aim what you have gained or earned in other directions also, but evaluate every decision properly. Okay, so that's what we have for our 10 of Pentacles. So, what'd you think of the deck? Let me know. Let me know. I'm eager to hear. One thing I did notice about the guidebook that I'm personally not crazy about is kind of how it reads. Let me know if you find this, but I don't know if it's because the original explanation was translated from Italian. And you know how they say, like, oh, it loses something in the translation? Maybe that, or maybe the right words weren't used, but I find that I have to kind of reread the guidebook for some of the cards because it kind of doesn't make sense. But knowing Spanish and kind of hearing the words in Spanish, it actually makes more sense to me and it gives it a little bit more depth. So you'll have to let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you notice the same thing or if I'm just not that deep and I'm not reading properly, which could totally be the issue going on here. But I love this deck. Oh, another thing I noticed with the cards, I know sometimes people look at the backs and they want to know if they can tell whether the card is upright or reversed. I don't believe you can tell from this. You can't tell what's right side up or upside down. So that's a plus. I love the card stock. It's going to be able to last a while, and it has lasted a while. I know some people really beat this deck up and it lasts. I love the imagery. This is one of those decks that every time you look at it, you're going to find something new. And it's going to add that much more depth to your readings every time. Because, yeah, even going through it, I noticed different things that I didn't notice before. If you're brand new to tarot, this may not be the deck you want to start with. And I mean brand new as in you don't know what the major arcana are, you don't know what the minor arcana are, who the cards are. You're not going to get that explanation in this deck. At least not from the cards that I've read. I think this deck really does shine for those who read intuitively, who go off of symbolism and visualizations. Do I wish he would have explained why he used certain elements in the card? Absolutely, but it is what it is. So for me, this is a deck that I highly recommend for any collectors out there, anyone who reads intuitively, anyone who is drawn to the Santa Muerte or Dia de los Muertes aesthetic and energy. But if you're looking for a deeply instructional, beginner friendly system, this may not be the deck for you. But you can always make tarot your own. There is no right or wrong way with tarot. I think I waited too long. That's my only regret, is that I waited too long. Those are just my thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you think about this deck and whether you would read with it, you have read with it, what are your experiences with it? And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.